Hall is almost full now. The program is yet to start, but can you tell us what we can look forward to today?
Yeah, actually, this is a requirement from the IEC that all political parties must conduct their their congress before on the 15th of March. And even IEC didn't do that. We know that our constitution said every 4 years we must go in for congress and audit our executive that were tasked with the responsibility to steer the affairs of the party for the past 4 years. And we will also go in for election to select our another group of executives that will steer the affairs of the party. So for us, it is must and we must do it. But today we are here finally to do what our constitution said, the requirement of our constitution to hold a congress on the 5th. It starts since on the 5th up to today. Today is the final day of the congress when the executive will report to the members of the Pdois to tell them how they were steering the affairs of the party for the 4 years, giving us the financial statement of the party, the activities that they have engaged in, and they will also elect who will be our presidential candidate for 2021, and other positions too will be elected through the delegates.
Like I always say, this is not just any other Congress. You know, we are in elections here, so these congresses that political parties are holding are particularly or should be particularly important to them. So how is this Congress going to be different from the previous ones?
Yeah, this will be a total different because this Congress, after we have achieved for the first time in the history of the Gambia by removing a president through an election, and for 54 years we have never changed the country through the ballot box. So for the first time we have achieved what we call a regime change by removing a president here that has entrenched him or himself to us. And next one we are saying a system change because we want to change the system that keep us ignorant, that keep us poverty for almost 54 years. We want to change that system. So this election will be because it is the defining moment of the Gambia for us to pave a new way for a new Gambia because we have suffered a quite long. So it's going to be different. This is why Pdois, if you look at the t-shirt, you'll see that it's a transformative agenda. What do you mean by transform? You have to transform the whole structures of how the country is governed. That's the program we have before the Gambian people, and it's left to them to choose whether they want that transformative agenda to lead us to a system change or not. So it's going to be different, totally different for Pdois. We mean change and we mean change, and it is time for us to change the country.
So back to the issue of the crowd thing, because yesterday you guys had the caravan, and yet still some critics of PDIS were like, okay, well, that's not a big crowd, you know, so it means that you guys still have a lot of work to do. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, actually, for us, it's not about competition of crowd. If you look at PDIs, we don't compete too much in regards of crowd. What is important is, people getting the message. And if it is only crowd, we could have sent 10 gelegeles to Wolle, but we only sent 2 gelegeles to Wolle, and we have almost thousands of people that wanted to come. But for us, because of COVID-19 and other restrictions, we minimize the numbers of the people so that we respect the protocols of the COVID-19. Since we know that we must live with COVID-19, it cannot stop us to do our activities. But we make sure that we minimize the numbers that should come for this Congress. So it's no more about competing for now because we are not in a campaign year whereby we will compete in terms of number. This is a Congress that's internally for party to elect their leaders and do auditing and report back to their delegates. So it's not an event of crowd competition. This is why we don't care about the numbers. What is important is to do what is required by our constitution and what is required by the IEC.
Again, like you said, COVID-19 is still here, very much active in the Gambia and the rest of the world. But yesterday, people were also criticizing the PDOI, saying that you guys were not following COVID-19 guidelines that are put in place by the World Health Organization and the government of the Gambia. How do you respond to that? Saying that you guys were very much active on social media, also criticizing other political parties for holding super spreader events.
Yeah, thank you very much. For us, we have made sure that all the COVID-19 guides that the Ministry of Health has put in place, we make sure that we provide all the necessary ones. You could see even yesterday we have thousands of masks available. We make sure that people wear the masks, but you cannot control a crowd. It is always difficult to control a crowd. But what is the responsibility of the party is to make sure that they provide what the WHO or that the Ministry of Health advise us to do, and we have done that by providing all the necessary equipment that are needed for the prevention of the spread of COVID-19. So, but you cannot control each and every individual who refuses to remove his mask. And some people, maybe they have health complications that they cannot wear masks for the whole of the time. You cannot control those type of people. So these were the issues that we were having. This is why we could not, but we make sure that we provide, as a party, we provide what is necessary for that. So, but you will have critics at anywhere, because that's the politics of the Gambia. They are all looking for loopholes whereby they can castigate or say any other things. But Pdois is a responsible party, and this is why all of them were looking up to Pdois to see whether they will definitely do what they expected of, because they know that we are always adhere to the principles and the laws of this country. So, but we can't control, and it is unfortunate that we could not control most of the people that refuse to wear masks. But it's not the intention of the party. We respect the COVID-19 rules and regulations, and so far we have been the party that have been advocating for people to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols.
Thank you very much, Kemeseng Sane of Pdois. Let's see who else we can talk to. Kemeseng, is Silla here, Honorable Silla? We are still here at the Kairaba Beach Hotel, as the Pdois is set to hold their 2021 National Congress, as expected of all. As expected of all political parties. So we'll now stop here, and then we will continue with a live coverage of today's Congress. Let's see, it seems we also have another member of the party. Yeah, we nanga def.
maa ngi fi sant yàlla ba bari.
Nuyu nañ la tey dafa mel ni yéen a xew la ba si Pdois la. lan lañ nekk di séntu tey si bés bi.
waaw dëgg la ñu ngi séntu tey pour suñ kilifa yi ñëw suñ members yi ñëw suñ supporters yi ñëw suñ sympathisers yi ñëw ñu jàkkaarle exécutif bi ñu waxtaan ak ñoom liñ ci war a def ñu def ko alhamdulilahi rabil alamin mu jeex ñu tasaaroo si jàmm salaam.
yow supporter nga Pdois tey su nekkoon da nga am loo xam ne di nga bëgg a ñu wécci ko si parti bi lan la moo doon.
si parti bi fu mu nekk nii du ma mun a wax right now lan laa bëgg ñu soppi ko parce que institution bu nekk ak organisation bu nekk dafa am doxalin te waxtu bu nekk daf dee nit ñu revisit ko. so luñ ci soxla pour ñu soppi ko rek su revisit bi jotee suñ toogee ñun ñëpp as a family dinañ ko toppatoo.
so tey nag comme noonu leen ko waxee rek génne ngeen ak message ngeen ne this year comme ne nekkut any congress because dañ nekk si at boo xam ne election yi la ngeen génne nag with a specific agenda mooy transformative agenda bi yow lan nga understand si that agenda.
waaw transformative agenda bi moo nekk ne benn suñ kilifa yi ñu ngi jëm mag te ndaw yi ñooy doxal léegi ñoom dañoo woon ndaw yi doxalin benn ñaar moo nekk système bi nga xam ne moo nekk in place si Gambia boobu tamit dañ ko war a change moo nekk système change nañ xarxanam des na change doxalin te change doxalin moo gën a am solo change xarxanam so foog ñu transform from one place to another pour ñu mun a achieve li nga xam ne moom lañ bugg a ñun ñëpp mooy nga xam ne mooy njëriñi askan bi di njëriñi Gambia di njëriñi doomi Gambia pour am loolu foog nga am doomi Gambia bu ees attitude yi foog mu change gis-gis bi foog mu wecceeku xalaat yi foog mu soppaleku ñu jubli si loo xam ne mooy njëriñi njaboot gi yëpp mooy njëriñi Gambia yëpp duñ xool suñ boppa tey rek dañoo xool Gambia yëpp pour ëllëg ñun loolu mooy suñ transformative agenda pour njaboot gi suba waaw.
ñu nekk si élection yi yow lan nga am parti bu nekk fu mu nekk nii lu ñëw ut mooy ñuy ñëw support leen sànnil leen yow lan mooy sa message to the Gambian people.
waaw loolu dëgg la waaye ci doxalin yi dafa utee with Pdois ñoom toujours dañoo jàngale pour doomi réew mi ñu gën a eew ba ëllëg kenn du leen mun a nax li nga xam ne ñoo ko moom ñu xam ne lii ñoo ko moom ñoo ko war a jëriñoo ñoom lañ ko war a delloo waat parce que réew mu nekk government bi am na lu mu la war a delloo sa doomi réew mi am na lu mu la war a njëriñ sa wér gu yaram sa njànga yooyu noonu yëpp loo xam ne la yow da nga ko war a am si sa réew sa housing mooy dëkkuwaay bi loo war a am la nguur toppatoo yàlla pour nga am standard living condition so loolu noonu la ñoo ñun doom PDOIS di xeex waaw.
jërëjëf ñu ngi leen a wish successful congress.
jërëjëf thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Those are still some of the members of the party that we have been able to speak to. The guests are still arriving. The program is yet to start. So stay tuned with us as we bring you a live comprehensive coverage of today's event. Thank you very much.
It is better if we have put our face mask on, and as you know, when one is entering, one is subjected to a process of hand sanitization. So this helps greatly. So we are pleading with you that you put on your face mask. Those who are not do not have medical conditions, please.
If they feel that the mask is
Yes.
dirty, they can call us and we will replace it.
Yes, he's telling me that if the mic is dirty, we can call, and then they'll replace it. But may I now first call the members of the Central Committee to assume the seats on the front table. Can we have Fatou Sow, Fatou Toure, Fatou Jane, Nafi Seka, Ndei Yasin Seka, and the councillors, elected councillors. Can we have them on the front table? What they call high table, I am calling it front table. Can we have the ladies up there and the elected councillors? Well, Lyndon.
Okay, mba damutala yin kamala wato tatale yo bari nga mol soto front table men ketana alfalti aliyejele Halifa Sidia Suebu ifale siranta anina kansulo ofana beje base banko ka wulli mbe councilors final be kumandila elected councilors ñu be sina Fatou Touré ibe Daouda Ndei Seka Esimuruna Oyena Nde Yasin Seka. Ani Nde Yasin Seka. Okay. Fatou Diane. Fatou So. Fatou Diane, Fatou So. Nde Yasin Seka. Al Sele. Ale Sidla Muta. Ngada Muta. Ala barak.
Butakala baytinji ba lendu njakuti bos Gambia ti na ba jiri mbos butong abaci ka ten congress doy legi tu ci ten banyanga bi fu jun parce que cim ten banyandu legi bi ka njage high table ci mante biking biki me bro natar doy pia ba councilor pia ba honorable parti doy pone biking ga batef legi ri ka jong banyanga bi fu jun congress bu ka ndar congress ka jun okay yo banyani safu kubari mam ku jamaat kambaɓe Gambia ɗi kambom susuka sulumay walla susuk sasu bari ko kaji kere congrès et Pdois pati an konen doy ñame wal ko be joka commencé congrès pour me jo may warne jo eno so jike jat tan tembe ñame high table bukana ka waran ko lakori high table ko kondi kanyi tolak honorable kati doy ke councilors kati doy di bukana ka ko kanu manyum kabajum place di pati an konen doy ko kondi kere mbola ko kondi kanyita pour mo commencer ya so jila ko mano sani manjom wol be keri ngenu ri kang yano sani tade
Where's Shankanu Demba Jallo Demba Ba, can you come help us? Sankanu, we need you around, so we don't we need you around the podium. Yes.
Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum maren salam kula ko kunyi nangirti kamunga ron kunne iga kibare be konno kadangani kenni warni golle njopa qawmenu ga tagun halle kantringeti ka haklenga kibarun suwarun joppe ko sumpari da ta ko njopa warna joppa sasa kunno kera kana yam po maga gara joppa hakatibe o gara akanu hakatibe nan do joppana haramre men nyam bungu oy menu gara asimam gobe kera kana sirbe nan ko tambiya annam po warni kibarun joppa ka bismillah
bandiraɓe musidɓe tedduɓe on calminama oɗon gandine tan joni puɗɗoɗen batu o joɗiɓe dow tabal ne wiye high table ko ardiɓe parti o e kansuloji ɗi ganduɗa ɓe cuɓanoma e élection aji ɓennuɗi ɗi kamɓe gonɗo e high table he ɗum noon oɗon gandine tan batu o ɓooyata fuɗɗo bandiraɓe tinira noon ɓe gandira ɗum noon.
We also have two delegates from the diaspora, Mr. Jerry Jallo and Adama Mane, Adama Pen. Can you also come? They are representing. Well, I was told that Jerry is an invitee from the diaspora coming purposely for the Congress, but it is Adama Pen who is the delegate from the Europe branch. It is Adama Pen and Fai Suso who are delegates, but Fai is joining us through virtual because of COVID. He is part of the proceedings. He is watching what is taking place, and if he wants to intervene anytime, the arrangements that we'll make arrangements for him to access what is happening. And for the US, we have Jabu Jo and Ibrahima Kijera. They are delegates for the Pdois US branch, US and Canada branch. They are also participating virtual. So they are part of this Congress as delegates. But before I proceed, before we start the session proper, I want to introduce those here who are up here. You have Pape Duboy. He is the Doi Ward Councillor. He's the Ward Councillor, sorry, Ward Councillor. Sanjal Ward. You have Fatou Sow, Doi KM. They are the hosts. You have Fatou Toure, Doi West Coast Region. You have Councillor Karim Dabo, Bartes Ward. You have Halifa Salah, Secretary General. You have Nafis Seka, Doi West KM. You have Syria Jata, Chairperson, the Central Committee. You have Swaibu Toure. You have Musa Cham, London Corner Ward. You have Sagari, Sekou Gari, and you have Fatou Jane. You have Ndeye Yasin Seka. Who's next? Can the person stand up? Oh, you have Councillor Peter Mendy. And you have Adama Pen. I guess everybody is announced. And then you have Mamu Toure. Where's Mamu? Mamu, come up. Mamur Toure. It's not Mamu, it's Mamur. Banjul, Newtown East Ward. Yes, and I am Usman Sila. Okay, we're now handing over the chair, I'm just the MC, to the chairperson of the, interim chairperson of the Congress, Syria Jata, the National Assembly member for Woolly West.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon.
Yes. By the way, we want, yes, we want this to be a solemn occasion, and we want to pray to God to bless this gathering and its outcome. On that note, I want to invite the Imam Ratib, of Kololi, Imam Senghor, to come and lead us in the Muslim prayers. Can we have the fim nekk dañoo imami Kololi bi Imam Senghor mu ñëw jiitu ñu ñaanal ñu pour Yàlla barkel ndaje bi li fee juddu yëpp nekk loo xam ne jàmm la pour réew mi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليكم ولا الضالين آمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للذين كفروا واغفر لنا ربنا إنك أنت عزيز الحكيم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وأيد لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم إنا نسألك عفوا والعافية والمعافاة دائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة اللهم إنا نسألك ردك ورد النبي ورد الأشياء ورد الوالدين اللهم اجعل ما نحب فيما تحب اللهم اجعل في اختيارك واختيارنا ولا تجعل إلا إليك اختيارنا يا ربنا يا خالق العوالم قل بيننا وبين كل ظالم وأجزي لكل من علينا إحسانا وجاسينا جزاء حسنا اللهم ادفع عنا جهدا وجوعا وخريا واكشف عنا من البلاء ما لا يكشف خيره اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد صلاة وسلاما دائمين متلازمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
jërëjëf Imam Ratib Senghor
Abaraka Imam Ratib Senghor
Mbal mami noari arnam baraji
ayo baraka Imam Ratib nanti peningri binya wala none baraka Imam apurunde lawe nyame.
We don't have the full translator. He was here. Demba, can you come? Okay, may we now have Pastor Joseph Elijahs to come and lead us in the Christian way. Pastor Elijahs. Pastor Joseph Elijahs.
onjara mamba alma hodo pastong
Good afternoon. I am humbled before you this afternoon to lead a Christian prayer on behalf of the Gambian Christians. Let us pray. Great and awesome God, the God of the heaven and the earth, the God of the universe, the God of all nations, the God of the Gambia, and the God of all flesh. God, we thank you this afternoon for all you are doing since Friday until now and what you will continue to do in this country and in this party, in Jesus' name. Here we are gathered as a party to have this special and wonderful Congress. Since you are our creator, we invite you in our midst this afternoon to come and take total control. Let your divine and perfect will be done to guide and direct our hearts and thoughts to do that which is just and fair toward the people of the Gambia, in Jesus' name. I pray for the leadership of Pdois and our people, that you, God, will grant them more wisdom, more knowledge, more wisdom, and more understanding to bring the transformative agenda into reality to the Gambian people. In order to eradicate ignorance and poverty, for in our lifetime, in Jesus' mighty name, I humbly pray for the Gambian people, that God, you will help open their mind and understanding to the reality behind the truth that will liberate and set the Gambia free. And may you alone stir up the hearts of the Gambian people from Khartoum to Koina to rally behind the party for system change. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. May the outcome of this Congress be a successful one in the mighty name of Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much, Pastor Joseph Elijahs. May Allah, may God accept our prayers. Yalla yalla nangu sunyan. Now we just also announce that as part of the Central Committee, we have Idrissa Jallo, Mamadou Sambu, Samsar, and Sekou Nyasi. But Sekou Nyasi is indisposed. Now we hand over to the interim chair, Sidia Jata. And Auntie Amisila, she too is indisposed. She's recovering from illness.
Thank you. Members of the High Table, distinguished invitees, distinguished delegates from all over the Gambia, all other protocols duly respected, welcome. But before I start, hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear? Hello, hello? Okay. I was saying before I start, I would kindly ask all of you to observe a minute's silence in the honor of some of our comrades who passed away. Even 2 days ago, one of them passed away. He would have been here. And last night, one of us wife passed away also in the hospital in Banjul. I would be very grateful if we would all stand up and observe a minute's silence in honor of all those people who would have been here. Thank you very much. I said, well, I said, it doesn't seem, okay, hello?
1, 2.
Honorable. Let her come down.
Honorable.
Come down.
Honorable.
I hope so.
The cameras.
Now I am free.
Honorable, please. Because of the journalists.
No, I'm here.
Honorable. You have to keep the sound. The journalists are around.
Are you able to control?
Yeah, okay. Come, let me see.
Clearance?
Oh, yeah. Come, let me see, please.
You are. Otherwise, I'm going down.
One, two, mic test.
They are not hearing that.
Okay, now, okay, just stand.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear?
You have to close the mic, yes.
All right,
Just
so
close.
I use this one.
Yeah, you can close the mic. Okay, okay, let me connect this one. Okay, I'll use this one too.
Hello, hello, hello. There are two now. Hello, can you hear me? You are saying no. Okay or no?
Yes, yes.
All right, let's try. I was saying welcome to the 2021 Congress of People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism. 35 years ago, we started a very long journey by founding Pdois. But we knew it was going to be a long journey because it is a lifetime's journey. The party went through different processes since then, particularly from 2003 to 2016, all in the quest to find a solution to the dictatorship that existed in this country. And through the party serving as a catalyst, a coalition was created in 2016, which has resulted to the dislodging of the dictatorship that prevailed in this country for 22 years. That journey has ended in what you call regime change. Today, well, you were saying that we are hearing, some we are not hearing, but you are all sitting there, some hear, some don't. Today, we are here to start another journey. And I'm impressed by the presence of this number of people who are here, who by their presence indicate very clearly that they are committed to take part in that journey that is going to start from today. That journey is what is going to lead us to what we are calling a system change. What we are now beginning today in this hall is to plan, think about how this second journey that we are starting today is going to begin and what we are supposed to do to bring about that fundamental objective of having a system changed. I'm not going to give a long speech because of the time constraint, but let me give an analogy. To put it in simple, straightforward terms, when you talk about a system change, I will liken it to a hunter, particularly traditional hunters. When they wanted to kill their game, they have to change themselves to be in tune with nature. They change their clothes, they change their way of movement, they change their way of perception of the game they are aiming at. Everything that they do is changed. In other words, they have a code of conduct which changed their way of working. A code of conduct which changed their perception of that reality that they want to kill. A code of conduct that changed their way of working to that reality. So system change is changing everything that existed or that exists in which you are. That is what we call system change. It has to do with the way you do things, with the way you perceive things, with the laws and other things that you have in place that are making that system to exist. Otherwise, you will not have a transformation. In other words, it is an overhaul of what exists in order to have in place what serves your purpose and your interest. That is system change. All of us here, before we leave this room, must commit ourselves to bring into fruition that fundamental objective of changing the system that we now have in the country. We fought tirelessly against the regime that was here before because it did not serve our interest, because it oppressed us, because it denied us everything. And we want in place a system that is going to serve our interests, a system that will recognize the fact that we are all sovereign, and nobody's sovereignty is bigger than anybody else's sovereignty. A system that is going to recognize the fact that we all have rights, and our rights are the same. They are the same for everybody. And a system that is going to impose on us the duty to defend that system once we put it in place, and to always make sure that it serves the interests of the people, and we make sure that it exists for the purpose for which we are creating it. That will be the duty of everybody in this room. So without wasting time, I thank you all for listening, and I am going to hand over now the chairpersonship of this Congress to Honorable Adama Ba. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sidia. I have the honor to represent the whole of KM. We had a committee that selected myself and Madam Fatou Sow to be the chairperson and co-chair of this Congress. We know there is no more time, so we are not into giving you a big speech. What we will do now, I just want to announce, if you have a program already of this Congress, we are cutting the program down so that we will have more time. Now, we have now decided, after some consultations, to have the opening remarks given by Honorable Sidia Jatta. We also have the reports coming from the different bureaus, but we have decided that we will cut that out because that will actually take a lot of time, because all the bureaus would have given their reports and all they have said would have been translated in the different languages. You can imagine how long time that will take. So we have decided to now cut that out. As you heard from Honorable Silla, the treasurer, who is Mr. Nyasi, he is very sick, so he did not come to the Congress. So we have decided also to cut that out. I know the accounts of the party are really important, and it should have been reported, but you all know how transparent DOI is. The audited accounts will be submitted to the IEC as soon as possible, as dictated by law, and all the members will then have a chance of having the report of the audited accounts. So what we will be doing instead is I will be calling the Secretary General of the party, Honorable Halifa Saleh, to give his report to the Congress, and then we will have the adoption of the resolutions. Then we will have the elections of officials, and then we have the closing remarks. So we have tailored this down, and I would make a possible resolution to the general body. If you agree with me that we tailor it down to these different topics, can you say aye, as they say in Parliament? I'm not hearing you? Okay. So it is generally agreed that we tailor down all the other portions of the agenda to now go straight and deal with the long-awaited speech of the Secretary General of DOI, who is no other but Honorable Halifa Saleh.
At the right time.
Aliam balal drum abal kumandila abal kumandila later al nimbara.
This is the time we have been waiting for. The life expectancy in the Gambia is below 70 years. Many have gone.
Well, Ngenbal, you ready to change mic, see? Quickly, please, quickly. Are you ready? Okay, quick.
So be sure we go off. Off.
1, 2.
Bobu dañ ko wara off. Ñang na nak mëna off system bi.
Mo nekk fii xoolal fii li leen ekkati yi nga ay li fii la. Non moo nekk fii. Fii lañ ko lay fii.
Non, du boobu.
Non,
bii laa wax.
Non, bii suñ ko ekkatee.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, gën a ko waaj. Okay,
Is it okay?
Yeah, Uncle.
Hello, Yerang Madega. Those behind, are you hearing? Okay, thank you. We again call Honorable Ali Fasala, please, to give his speech.
This is indeed the time we've been waiting for. Life expectancy in the Gambia is below 70 years. Many have gone, and many will go before the end of 2021. It also means that I'm also on the same path. And I'm ready for it. But when I do go, it will be going fighting to defeat ignorance and poverty in my homeland. Me and my colleagues have spent all our lives in that battle. Now we are gathered here to remove the dust in our eyes that for centuries made us believe that we are powerless, helpless, hopeless, and voiceless. Even though the sovereignty of this land resides in us and power belongs to us, they made us believe that we are the least important persons in the world. And those we put in power are the very important persons. On the 16th of January 1997, a constitution came into being that we call the 1997 Constitution. On the 24th of April 1970, a constitution came into being that we call the 1970 Constitution. In 1965, a constitution came into being that we call the Independent Constitution. But for 52 years before 2016, this country never changed to the ballot box. And we believed that power was unassailable, invincible, and we had to surrender to it. But through the power of awareness and organization, we managed to bring the first change through the ballot box since independence on the 2nd of December 2016. It became clear to every Gambian that power indeed belongs to the Gambian people. But many fought the fight to bring about that change. And as I stand here, I remember Safi Wali. The songs she sang And I would want the Woolley team to just touch on one of them, Sailing Kuno. Woolley,
Alimbara, 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 Alimbara. Sen yaram tanga na def. Alimbara, 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 Alimbara. Alimbara, Alimbara. Alimbara. Alimbara, 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 Alimbara. Alimbara, Alimbara, Alimbara.
Alimbara, wole mu toñat, wole mu toñati, molbe nyanta kalamutala ko wato sita ye men fo wala mu ñinti ko mool men siyata ñim banko kan ila siyobu ka tambi sanji tan woro wulale jamaatat jama be taka ntolla tafa nak man jamfa fo mbeyta bari man sila saya ñala adum fanan a koyto lewko ni be tala fanan nin kelo le be tala kelo pour que filo bay kelo pour que fo har ya burke ñim banko ka wala ye doylo ka filo bay ka fo har ya burke bawo filo man hadama dingo wati fo har ya man hadama dingo wati bari sembo be banko dingol bulu bari malo ye mol filindi foy ka mune moy mbal ko ma doron man karam ntamu senala te doron man fen lon mbal koma e muru koma mbal koma e muru koma mbal koma e muru koma fe dum ila khapro kono bata kono wole ta ñaato ite yeta koma yambulandi wo silole kan wole ya kendi bata met filobe damen bata buka bono je wole ya kendi ni lafita mo kutul ala bulo kono ika filindile ika bali londole la ika bali toñale la abuka fan kalamutano memutat abukalo yewota yake itat ite yabalu dunya ardeno kono wo yabalu dunya jahannama kono ka wulu bata kono ka mem bata kono ka keba bata kono ka fa bata kono wala mu jahannama wala ya kendi fahamuro kumayat tili tang anin woro January karo 1997 banko la maral kan kuto wuluta tili mon anin nani April karo 1970 banko la maral kan wo fanan wuluta wolungol 1965 banko la maral kan wo fanan wuluta 28 February 18 February bari membe keri wo wato kono wole mu ko jong ya julo kuntu ka banko dingol forayandi ke sembentia pour yela banko mara ayeke ila bankoti bari mo malo so wole ya kendi nying bemo be keri kanyo so hakkilo la pour nga long na banku ding ya anyante nafala munela ni man kan soto ila banko kan ima sembo soto ila banko kan oto betara la lunta yari ila banko kan li motax ñuy waxtaan ak yeen ne waxtu wi jot na ñu ne leeral nañ ne bakkan ci Gambia bakkan yi ñu ëpp duy paase juróom-ñaar fukki at ñu bari dem ne ñu bare nga ci yoon te ñun mi itam jombuñu ko wante ragaluñu ko ndax xam nañ ne suñ fi jógee dinañ xam ne ba ñoo dugg si suñu bàmmeel ñu ngi ko defoon mu nekk suñu itte pour xeex réer xeex ñàkk xeex réer xeex ñàkk ndax looloo isi coono gi ñu nekk tey fekk xeexuñu ñaar yooyu coono gi du mun a génn te dañ ko def bañ gëmloo ñu ne ñun duñ nite dara soo doxee man baadoora rek la man jànguma man béykat rek la jànguma man liggéeykat rek la jànguma man jigéen rek la jànguma maa ngi ci seen gannaaw rek ngay dellu gannaaw maa ngi seen gannaaw rek di dellu gannaaw maa ngi seen gannaaw dafa dellu gannaaw ba dugg ci pax ma ñu ne amuñu baat amuñu doole doonuñu dara ñu ne looloo tax ñuy waxtaan ak yéen ndax yéen ay lépp baati réew yi juddu ci fukki fan ak juróom-ñett ci février 1965 ñaar fukki fan ak ñeneen ci avril ci 1970 ak fukki fan ak juróom-benn ci weeru janvier ci 1997 baat yi yépp jubluwaay bi mooy wane ne doole gi yéen a ko moom ne yéen ay fal di folli waane ñu réeral ñu ba mel ni ñun du ci nit ci dara ñi ñoo fal ñooy lépp ñu ne nit soo ko buggee def rab danga koo ñàkkaloo xam-xam bu mu xam bopp bu mu xam ki mu doon su xamul ki mu doon du xam li mu moom su xamul li mu moom keneen moomale ko boppam moom mu ñàkk ko kooku nekk ci àjjana ci kaw suuf moom mu nekk ci jaxanama ci kaw suuf di juddu ci coon màggee ci coon màggee ci coono di dee ci coon loolu lañ bugg a arrêté moo tax ñuy ñëw fii tey bàyyi soxla yépp pour waxtaanee suñu réew ndax réew mii ñun ñooy doomam te waajur dafa war a toppatoo doomam ñun ñaari waajur lañu am waajuri deret ak waajuri réew waajuri réew mi bi ñu waxee ne feebar bi dugg si na ci réew mi jël nañ lu toll ci juróom-ñett téeméeri million ñeneen fukki million ak juróom ca kees ne dinañ jënd maalo dinañ jënd sukur dinañ jëgg diwleen seetaale ko nit ñi way ñàkk yi te way ñàkk yooyu soo xaajee réew mi téeméeri xaaj ñu ne ñeneen fukki ak juróom-ñett yépp suñu ndekkee duñu añ duñu reer ñoo ko wax de ñun waxuñu ñu ne réew mu ñàkk la nga mun a jénnee loolu ci benn kees te kees ga suñu alal la ca nekk te yow mënuloo fexe xale bay dem ca school ba ne dinga ko jox ndekki jox ko añ ca keesi réewam ndax xale boobu moo war a tekki pour toppatoo réewam yow yaay waajur wa lu tax doo ko jox añ ba ak ndekki la sa school ba soo defee loola teggi nga en booba ca waajur wa sawargal nga xale booba ca jàngam lu tax ngay dem ba mu toskare nga dem sànni ko la nga xam ne mooy rusit ne ko dundee ko ñu ne réew moo xam ne waajur la soo gisee ñu ne réew mooy dafa yore alal yore njaboot te foofu la mbir mi réeree ci wàllu li ñuy doxalee politique ne su nit ki xamoon ne li di réew ni waajur wi di war a toppatoo doomam noonu la réew itam war a toppatoo doomam bon ñi ñoo dënk réew dara waratul nekk seen ité lu dul xalaat bor bu set ni waajur wi di xalaatee fàtte léppam gannaaw di jël la nga xam ne moom la am pour rek dundale ko njaboot ga ñu ne réew itam noonu la war a fexee ñañu ko dénk noonu lañu war a fàttee seen bopp gannaaw di xalaat li nga xam ne mooy war a yóbbu seen doomi réew ca kanam ñu ne alal ja nekk ca kees ga soo ko jëloon nga jox béykat bi engrais jox ko jiwu jox ko machine ne ko béyal te doo jël intérêt teg ko ca boppam ba la mu ñàkk yëpp nga jël ko ci loxo te la ñoo jaayee ca marché àddina sa itam doo te génne dara lu dul saaku yaag pétrole baag lay war a tax mu dem ca marché àddina sa ni kon béykat yi yëpp génne nañu ci coon ñu ne ci alal jooju soo ci jëloon machine walukaay yi nga xam ne dafa nal diwlin li nga xam ne dafa nal njiyeef yi pour am naan yu sedd yi ñooñu nga jox leen machine yooyu ñoom itam dinañ mën a génnee seen bopp ci coon ña nga xam ne ay jaaykat lañu nga defal leen li nga xam ne mooy fi ñuy jaayee suñ soxlee frit nga jëndal leen ko ñooñu itam jox nga leen buntu yoo xam ne buntu am lañu noonu la réew di génnee doomi réew ci coon te loolu la doy di waxtaanee ne yàggan ngeen ci coono suñ ne transformative agenda ñu ne wecci doxalin mooy doxalin bi isi coono war nañu koo xam doxalin bi dàq coono war nañu koo xam ku ñëw ci seen kanam ne dënk leen ma réew daf leen war a wax ban doxalin mooy war a tax ngeen génn ci coono wala mu tooñaat men kummaayaat wala mu kaa kalamuta ko sembo moo le taam banku dingol le taam kango banku dingol le taam bari wote keenoola ni fahamuro man dung fankalamutaro man dung kabiri ñing kura ngo mamanta yemu nekke dalasi million kemese dalasi million tannan dalasi million lulu ye wole bonde aran kesoto ka mano sang ka tulo sang ka sukuro sang iko ka di fo harol wole mu fuharol la bayramoti mune ya kendi wo ko do membe aran kesot janni baturo kera fo moli ya tora mune ya kendi ita dunde la karambungol to ni diningol tata karambungol to ye dasa mo soto ye konto mo soto je wala ba kendi la wulu ya wala sawari pour que le diningol samba karambungol an wole nyanta kela bawo banko mo wulula leti wala ya kenin ka fo banku ding banko mo wulula leti an wulala do ko wole mu kela dindingol topato a nyama ni me topato ba fa ko imu wulal jawalati bari ni la banko balanta pour que topato mu nek fo woto men kummayat wole mu ka karamuto woke ko wululal ka dindingol topato nyamen banko fana nyanta ala dingo topato la wonya kodo membe aran kesoto ni yata yesana laldi jambandola turola sene jorongal ite interest la aka fengo ka wafi nyamen dunya la marseto ite fem bondi laje mem manke da paso de mem ka botol sang ani wo kusi falla men tutabe ya di Sénégal jumale betar la foire ya kon iba bolale oto tamandir nya wala ko mo bondi bank bata kono tamandir nya wala ko mo dundi dinko kono tamandir nya wala ya kendi ko tamandir membe kering num ay mo tundile woto tamandir nya nyanta soto la membe mo bondi la wala ya kendi nyimbe ngobe kering pour ñoo kala motoro ye ke Pdois had to go through a long journey, as Brother Sidia had said. We knew that as long as ignorance remained, the battle will be long. When you are fighting to enlighten and those are fighting to keep the people in darkness, the battle will be long. But we persisted. Eventually, we were convinced that the greatest obstacle to change is the lack of change of government, because it made the people to believe that it was impossible to change a government. They even inculcated in the minds of the people that those who are trying to change a government were Satan, because the government was put there by a creator. But even though we knew that as a farmer, if you are told to go and select good seed and sow it, and you select the bad seed and sow it, that you will not harvest a single seed, no matter how long you pray. We refuse to accept that the same principle applies when you select a leader of a country. Wherever there is choice, you are given the responsibility of using your intelligence to determine what is right and wrong, what is good and bad, what will serve your interest and what will not serve your interest. If you fail to do that and you reap poverty, don't blame anyone, blame yourself. And that is why Pdois made it a mission to join coalitions after coalitions after coalition, in order to bring about change at the head, even if it's not a change of system. But many people did not understand. A party will emerge today, have number of seats in the National Assembly. They say, Pdois was here for 30-something years. What are they here for? And Pdois could have accepted to be a tool. Look at the T-shirts. People voluntarily gave what they could to ensure that everything that we have today is given without any string attached. But you will see parties going to an individual who will give millions with string attached. Governments will do that. Individuals will do that. So that ultimately, when you take over power, you'll owe obligation. Pdois refused to do that, and you are blaming Pdois. But today, that refusal is yielding fruit. Today, that refusal is yielding fruit. That Pdois will not owe any obligation to anyone on the face of the earth, but only the people who will entrust the party with power. And Pdois will defend the interests of those people to the grave. That is what happened up to 2016. When we saw that the nation was in crisis, that we were heading towards violence and confrontation. Look at our neighbor Senegal today. It's a democratically elected government. But just having a democratically elected government does not mean that you will be free from violence, from death, from destruction. But then we saw the danger of a society that disintegrates, of hatred between citizens, and what civil war means. We have the history of Liberia, history of Sierra Leone, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission set up in those countries, how people were cutting the arms and fingers and raping women, taking babies from their mother's stomachs and wombs. We had all that. That a human being can be a savage if you instill that human being with hatred to a point that he does not or she does not see his or her fellow human being as a human being and sees that person just like trash. You can build that mindset and consciousness. We did not want that to continue happening in our homeland. That is why we decided to bring people together to effect change. We assembled in this very hotel, in this very hall, on the 30th of October, 2016, to select a candidate. We stood, we knew what happened. We don't need to go back to it. Those who participated had explained to you what they did in that selection, but we did not cry foul. Because if we did, there would not have been any change. We persevered, persisted, campaigned for the change. And because of the example that was shown in the campaign, the person who lost decided to accept. Because there was no violence in the election. He did not feel any threat because of the peacefulness of our campaign. And the intention in our message of building a new Gambia where every Gambian will see himself or herself. A new Gambia of all Gambians. I was the one that Honorable Bala Jampo called and said, the president wants to declare that he has lost the election. And could you create the possibility of him talking to Adama Barrow, then Adama Barrow? And I had to call and tell him that leave your phone open. The person in the White House is ready to call you. And all of us heard what he said. That is in the public domain. He surrendered. Few days later, he decided to renege the position. And everybody was confused when soldiers took over the street with their sandbags. But the message to the incoming president was, don't be perturbed. He has lost the election on the 18th of January. That will be the end of his term. And if he failed to go, he will be a rebel. And that will cost him a lot. And I don't think he will risk that. Pdois participated in effecting the change, in stabilizing the nation, in order to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. That is the history of this party. Don't judge the party by the number of seats in the National Assembly. Don't judge the party by the percentages. That does not define Pdois, it defines you, not us. It defines you, not us. Because for us, we know our national duty, and we are ready to sacrifice our lives for the sake of our people and country. And we do so without any expectation, no obligation from the people. You hate us, we will serve you. You love us, we will serve you. Because we are here for service. We are here for service. That is the report of the Secretary General. We are here for service. And we have proven to you that we are ready to serve, and serve for nothing. There is a history that we don't even want to narrate. But ask them, when he refused to go, who developed the strategy and the tactics for him to leave? On the 20th of January, those who had their vessels in the waters their troops outside our borders and jets ready to fly into the Gambia for bombardment. Who dissuaded those who thought that you can never remove, as they said, you can never, that was their logic. They put it as a logic that you cannot remove a dictator from power in peace. It must be violent. That was their theory. Who removed that theory from them? And you have the coalition security. They are still alive. They know we captured mercenary right in Adam's compound with bayonets and all gadgets, who were at risk. So essentially, we took the right path. Because if they attacked, bombard our land, it's the lives of our people that would have been wasted. It's fantasidal warfare that we have developed in the country. And dispersing the soldiers, they will go into the casamas, and we would have been left with an endless war. We will never know peace. We are gathered in this hall today because of taking the right step at the right time to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. When that happened, and we effected the peaceful transfer, the security forces were clearly under the control of the spokesperson of the president. And we managed to ensure, and Honorable Usman Silla is here, with the Red Cross, to ensure the return of Gambians who had left the country. Ensured the functioning of the civil service. Not a piece of paper was torn. Ensured the opening of business. No single shop was looted. Where in the world have we ever had a change of the one that we had? And there is no looting, no violence, and the president returned to the country in peace. And some people are still asking whether Pdois is capable of running a country. That you should have been ministers to show what you can do. And when we did not take those ministerial posts, that's what they were saying. How can you show the country you can govern without accepting those ministerial posts? That is the trajectory of the party. But for us, we understood that the change that occurred was a change of a regime. And that you can carry out reforms to have a better constitution, better institutions, better security apparatus, better civil service. Yes, you can have reform. But you cannot have transformation. The agenda was not about transformation. The agenda was about reform. But even the reform became a casualty. And because of power struggle, no one is thinking of reform now. So it is essential for you, the Gambian people, to understand that for Pdois, we knew that we cannot impose Pdois policies on a coalition government. And it is only those policies that can actually transform the country and eradicate the poverty that we have fought all our lives. We understand that this government and the governments before it have a consolidated fund, and this year 22 billion, which is 22,000 million as the budget, that it comes from taxation, from grants, from loans. We know that can never, ever eradicate the poverty of our people. It can only lead to greater indebtedness. That is why $67.7 billion debt is on our head. That is the reality. So as a result, for us, we are convinced that Gambia is rich, that our ocean, where you have fishing vessels coming and ply our waters, take our fish away, is what is building those countries at our expense. $845 million, you went and bought rice, you bought sugar, you bought oil to say you are going to feed the poor. And you cannot take anything from that million to be able to buy a fishing vessel, to put it in our waters, a trawler in our waters. You cannot rely on that money to buy those trawlers. But you can go and buy a bag of rice, but you cannot buy a trawler. Buy sugar, you cannot buy a trawler. Buy oil, but you cannot buy a trawler. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? You buy oil, but you cannot buy a trawler. And some economists, we don't know where they were educated, will say, no, that's not the function of a government. The government should not own fishing trawlers. They say, you the people, you should not own. You own the money. They say, you the people should not own fishing trawlers. And that's logic. You look at the mining that is taking place. Katom Batokunkusanya. The government cannot do anything to have 80% share, even if you allow a Gambian to have public-private partnership. That will be progressive. That a son of the land, having certain equipments and means, you say, come, let's form a partnership. But what is actually happening? Instead of a cooperative bank, where you can help our women to be able to own those gardens, those plantations, men and women, you allow others to come with small amount of money to lease the land, take ownership of it, employ them to work, and you take the profit to your own homeland. Is that the type of system you want in the Gambia? No. Is that the type of system you want in the Gambia? No. We are saying the wealth of the country could be allocated in such a way that a part will go to a cooperative bank, that you will help those people who are leasing the land to have all the seeds, all the equipment, all the fertilizer, organic fertilizer, in order to produce what that person is producing. But this time, instead of working for anybody, they'll be working for themselves. We say that is socialism. They say, no, that's a bad system. We call that socialism. They say that is a bad system. Is that a bad system? No. When you say what Pdois is doing, they start talking about Soviet Union and China. And these are the educated people of your land. You are being given facts, you ignore the facts and start talking about something else, and you're talking about in an intelligent man. And this is how the young people of this country have been confused over the years, misled, misdirected by misinformation. We took the time to go into the countryside to educate. They said, that's not politics. These people are wasting their time. They will be here for centuries. Educate for the people to know. You say, that's not politics. When sovereignty resides in you, and you should know what you are doing, you should make informed choice. So that is the situation that we are in today. And I'll come to conclusions in English. The report of the Secretary General cannot be an academic exercise. It is preparing you for a mission by giving you a vision we should not leave this hall until we are ready to do what the ancestors did to liberate the African continent. Lumumba, after he was arrested and they were ready to kill him, wrote a letter to his wife. And in that letter, he said it was the responsibility of his children to defend the sovereignty and independence of their homeland. He was assigning his child to do what he did, to go and die to defend Congo, even though he was facing death. They died for others to be free. We just have to sweat like you are sweating now to ensure that we free our people. We must be ready to carry messages to the people so that they know the truth. That is how we can defeat ignorance, to help the people to understand the truth. We have realized after the change that interests were not the same, and therefore others can do what they think is best for them. We also did what is best for us. We had anticipated that we'll go to the National Assembly and together we'll help bring a new constitution, new institutions, new laws, reform of systems. That's what we intended. But the aspirations were not the same. And now where are we? A divided country, divided parties, all seeking the mandate of the people and using any language they wish, other than helping the people to understand what serves their interests. If we collectively came together to educate our people to know what serves their interests, it will be very easy to change a country. For us, we have started a new journey. We have achieved our fundamental aim of facilitating a transfer, for the first time, peaceful transfer of power from one president to another based on your consent. That is democracy. We have achieved that. The next stage is not only to effect change of face, but change of system. And that is your future. Because each of you must live. And what we are calling for is what will enable everybody to live. We must harness from our waters, from our land, what will enable our people to eradicate poverty. Look at the Gambia River. You can have shrimp farms all over, aquaculture all over. You can have transportation with wharves everywhere to facilitate trade and remove heavy materials from the road to save our roads. We can do that. We can transform our vegetables, our fruits, into canned products for our use and for export. We can produce groundnut oil, we can produce groundnut cake, we can produce briquettes, we can produce soap, and all this will lead to industries and employment. That's how you build a country, and that's how you eradicate poverty. You look at the services of the land. You pay someone $2,000 a month and expect that person to be alive. We're saying that the country must come to the aid of such a person by what we call consumption welfare. You can feed the children in the schools. You can feed those who are working in the workplaces and provide them with transportation. Then the wage will come down and the income they have will start to be maximized. That's what we are saying. We are saying that woman who is working can be given 3 months prenatal, 9 months postnatal leave with pay to prepare that young child to come and serve his or her country. It is wrong to say, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. What can a baby do for his country or her country? What can a baby do, a toddler do for his country or her country? It is the country that must first do for you, and then you can go ahead and do for your country. The country is our motherland, is our fatherland, is our parents, and owes us the obligation of taking care of us. That's what Pdois is saying. That young child, fully taken care of, basic education, given knowledge of science, both social and natural, understanding body, understand illnesses and how to prevent it, growing up in an environment of love and care, with values of self-respect and respecting others, being trained in schools to elect prefects and see the quality of leadership. This is the type of society we are talking about. 12 years of education, being trained not only in acquiring knowledge, but also acquiring skills of your choice. Can go for 1 year national service, where you can be employed anywhere, work anywhere, place anywhere you wish, and be fed by the nation and given allowance by the nation to prepare you to serve the nation. That's how you build and organize society. And if you do not finish your mission in 1 year, then voluntarily you can go for 2 years to prepare yourself. That is how a nation accompanies the citizen to be the type of citizen who would be able to serve his or her nation. Just working in the farm or in any office, that you will build crèches where the younglings will be taken care of. And fathers will be given paternity leave, so that after the 1 year, they will also be able to continue to support into a society that cares for the young, cares for the elderly. Look at the pensioners. You work all your life, at the end, pittance. If you're a farmer, you do not even have pension. You work from the cradle to the grave. While the message is being prepared, we should have gone deep into the transformative agenda today. But we recognize that this is the starting point. A nation is not built in one day, and knowledge is not acquired in one day. Therefore, we should all be satisfied that there is something that we have that we want to share with you. And that is what will lead to the transformation of this country and ensure that you live in liberty, dignity, and prosperity. We want every Gambian to prepare the ground to share the information so that in common we know how we can live a life that is fit for a human being. Amuntu ko doy dunta ku jamala kono pour que banko tank ka biring mammo ket wote kola 2016 molia muneje soldarol be banta botol be laring silol kan mol man kumano bebe jakal dole banko bula banko be tilinding jele la bari kato keta fo falingo ket mum faling sifa falingo me yalon ko sembo membe jamme bulu ayata ka murundi molla wato me yalon ko e memu president wat amang dum banko kan fam woto sembo munet molla kaw waaw ka bering jamme bu bakay ñim banko kan president Adama Barrow man tare ñim banko kan woto amal sembo ta ka diala anen bulola
Don't Bankudia Musemboledi, Parenko Kansoto Munyantoledi, Kansoto Munyantoledi, Bankudia Musemboledi, Munanko Kansoto Munyantoledi, Dodale Kabankodogu, Karangale Kabankobondi.
Alnimbara.
Amununta ko konton wato fanan lafita sila awan sifolo woto nga continue abete yata mol ya kalamuta ko politiko manke wote dammati banko la tambandir ñaamu an ku jama wala ka kendi banko ye tama waaw banko ka tamale sing tala bari aka tamale kabirin doyin kol ya jeko balango ket kido si fayno ti ñaaro siki wala ya kendi do ko be keta pour que banko tank fo place o dita president baro muruta banko ka hani kayit kuntundin killing man tiña official fem man tiña bitikoltu kata bankoltu kodo mabu dulal security sonta pour que barola spokesperson le moy ay bulandi ko kula e ko walek fo banku dingol men yalon ko iba banta timol dadata fudi wol be murundi bankoka pare yo fanan keta pour president baro yamuru anyanta la damen sécurité be wala ya kurukuru kata ko be jibe mundu lale e sécurité soto pour ay taaji ñin do ko bekkete ñi banko amam fo woto akoy telewko doyin ko la hammo manke fengo fenti même manke kela banko doko kala kayro ñine ka sabatinde kabirin woket sani banko nyanta tilin na mun silo lekal nko doyla tamandir nya ita tala yadi coalition wala coalition la tamandir nya ibe wole balondela coalition lo dum e ay men yitendi wole mu falingo keta santu kungoto isi ku jamaa kuta kuta yanti bari abe kol yala pour ye tamande nyaabe fale woto isi banko la mara kan kuto dada isala luwal kuta kuta yandi isala doko bundal kuta kuta yandi isala solloro lo bunda kuta kuta yandi bari pour ka falin woye tamande nyaala nyininka an wo tamande nya amantara coalition obul wala kendi doyin kol ko pour que banko makoy banko la luwal ya dada sen kan dak dada ka ku jama kuta kuta yandi ntelbe tarala député bu ngot luwa ka dada dame crossero ka ke dame pour ka je ko kambente men wosi kero bari alla bango kolbe janjant sañi mune be kering campagne ño kelo pour ka jibe jumale si banko mara woto coalition la hammo amunto ko wo janjantale wotoma isa wafi banta ye bantaram ko do soto hani iko e banko la doko bunda ma nyanna wo doko sifa kala isi tulo sang bari tanye muto kulu ngosa wo mu tamad ya sifalati iko wolle mu lon nalti wolle mu lon nalti ani kam mol filindi wala doyin kol ko gadin doku lalo janni ibe mo bulala ay bo bant kana ko wo gadino lis ka woltaye kela ila doku lalti je mun ya ken ita bonde la aran kesoto woye men soto pour kala doko ke wo gadin ko isa di wo gadin doku lalla woye doko ke ka wafe wo ko do ye dum ila jiba kono kono mun ya ken wote kenora andoy ka wole fo socialism aran keso ko do membe je ya murundi mol kan pour que mol nafa iko hani wo tamande nyaman kat mun tamande nyaale katita ye mol bula mo klinkilnal na ka wo banko ta ka do konde ke do kondi fanan ila nafa ka wala mu tamande nya kendot ika funding kel filindi wala ni ko mata doron ye Russia fo wala Soviet Union ka China fo woto akummayat mol ya kalmota ko mol man lafita mol kutula ila bolo kono ibukal lafi wali fahamu rosoto doyin kol ko ni ya jibe banko ulam ko wullal be nyamen inyanta ile dingol topato la nyamen banko fana nyanda ala dingo topato la wo nya gambia dingo jumale mu ala wullati banko gambia nyanta topato e ka fodlen kel filindi watu do ka fogo e imanyana nyinin kala ila banko nyanta men ke inyanta men nyinin kala wala inyanta men kala ila banko o mun kuma sifalati an lonnal ka fogo wole mu lon ulundoti e ka janjande dunya be kon deyna no si munke ala banko asi munke no banko nyanta ala dingol topoto la fo wole kati wole muru ke la banko fanan katende wole nyanta kelle andoy kolbe wole foka misalo mumuneti kamodi dala se wulu fulala ka foko wala mu joti yalla wo mu farolet seladal si baluno banki doko lal fanan si baluno ni tamande nya katita nko menya na kala wala mu ila dingol ni wuluta janni ila musobe wala fam banko le nyanta karo saba diala pour asi foño pour mun kam ke dindingol makoy membe kono ko ye karo konon tota na wuluta pour asi dingo topato pour asi sembo soto même mu kete fanan ye wo fanan makoy sanji kilin kola pour wo fanan si dingo topato no naye sanji fula soto a ñanta tala karambu ngoto isa jeko isa karandi ko jamala adum fananje i ñanta dasam ay konton soto je woto isa jeko duno membe wullal kan wo be talala le banko bi dunna wullal koto kela bata tala wala mu banko la do ko let ni wo dindingo fanam be karankan a ñanta tala fo grade 12 ala karango ma ñanda kuntula banko dingom a ñanta karande la ay ku fahamu memba dala ay mol la ku nya faham ay ala banko la ku nya faham ay ku no afay sey ba jela ko janni abe karango banna abe londo sotala abe jikke kondo sotala asi ku keno me ya lonko asi hadama digol makoy karango kola sanji killing ala fita tala dawoda asi service keno pour banko asi doko ke banko e banko be domoro dial aning allowance se ba jela ko asi karam asi kuno naaje ko ala fita la fala asi sa keno sanji fulal woto wo banko adingo naya topoto wonya fo wobe tala ka beltota ka fengol dundije kata ka famfa wala ka molfa ko terrorist be kala nyame woti ke no la wo banku di ngoti ba aba fankala motala aba la banko kanula aba la mol kanula to en kolbe wole foka tamandir nya wole be banko bundila tamandina wole ba dundele den koko woto wo tamandi nya sifa doy nata biila pour que mol kaccandi ka fanundi bare ajibe wato man na soto bare banko buka falin lun kilingo kon londo buka soto lun kilingo kon nyingmu folo dolalati mo membe jang bi amanyan na bola jang amam pare pour aya famno pour kala banko bondi kala mol bondi bawo men ya kende kayro sabatita dula jamaatu dolle dunte kelo kono faro ket foyela kolyano inata kela banko doku ela mo nafaka ntolla doko amake ka jorango ta ka kidota ka mofa na doko mu menti nga pare pour que bata duni pour nga bol bondi bata ko wala mun tolla dunote wata kumma ayata be ya kalamuta ko doy ka birin coalition la kunya be janjanta doy yaaje ko a ñanta sing koten tala pour que kala doko continuer bawo doy wuluta pour que filo bay anin ka foari abay wono ala doko mam bang folo wala ya kendi nko tamande nya kuto wala nyanta sabatila pour nga bata bay momo mem pareta pour que bata bay wo nyanta dunna wo kafo kono me yalon ko mbe tamande nya kuto sabatila nyimba ko nana dalilo wallet woto akummayat ko jama men keta nyimbanko kan doylalo dula fanan ato woye kalamata folo kolya ba dunte nyimbanko kan mol ka fo 3 years 5 years abetata domanding ye moyje asi Sénéa kabirin kambe ngobe kela dol silata ko ni yemo bula ayelo patio la tol asi dum ku kono me yalon ko aba fulo ko ala patio asembo wala ya gagnandi wala ya kendi mol ko ni be lola coalition wala toyala fo yela patio bula yena yelo independent dol fadan silata ko ni mo meta bake marol e fo ko boje tumando asi kolea iko woto nga kanyande nga ke sanji sawalati ni mo balanta oto nta londila woto kafunyoya leketa wole kam ko mosilo bari abetarale je sanji sabala na ganyeta atelo la koteke woto wo membe nala e so isaje ko kanyango yeke wote kondo yeke nyimbanko kan akola bawo dol sabatita jang sanji tan saba do sabatita jang sanji mon ani fula e ko wota mandi asifa wala nyanta burkala kammenta wala nsa nomono nun ni wo kete faran amunto ko Gambia avec la banko te dunia kono en yalon ko jama ba bunya lale ay bunya bala soto kabirin wo kayir sifa janjanta nyin dunia ko alabanta e mol nata ko take ka letro safe ko doyin kol ani coalition mol la nyanta sila ya jibe fo sanji saba ani sanji lulu mun be banko nafal doy man tara wo be ngoto bawo mem fota aya lonko abe labanna kulela memme kala doyat doy man taraje yela kuwol ke fo inata ka fo ko ha iba bampula pour 5 years dol men ya lonko wol ka fo 5 years sañi ko sanji saba 3 years bare doy la lodula anene mam faling doy la lodula mu munete wala mu sanji saba wala kambenta bare banko ala loi ala maral kango ay men fo ni yemota yake president wote asisino je sanji lulu woto ni kambenta ko aba kanyande la sanji saba ala bete yamu na yake mosa lon ko ayaji ko mafa na make atutabulu atuta banko dingol bul woto wol mu doyla lodulat bari ite sembo tala ka force ko force abe sila je sanji sabal bawo ni yowoke isi arresno isa fono isi charge an wo man nafa soto bawo sembo men sita jang sanji mon anin fula e wo sembo nasi janjanno mun sembe le si tar la nyimban ko men te janjanno kayro ko oto kata man nafa soto je wala mu doyla lo dulati wo wato ko mol men yalon ko wole ko yaadi 5 years la tumando ye men mira wala mu nasita 5 years abe place o bulla wonata kaje ko pati kuto fomta sani ni doy tata nun ka foko tonya mbatu ngadi 5 years la tumando abe bola 5 years sani ay pati kutolo doy be mune fono la so wala ya kendi dol men ka foko ha nyimbe ngobe kering ban doy kay e buka dum bengol kono malo nyim mo fasam ya lo nyimbe mu fahamu bale ala to wala kendi ko mira bale ya konton munim solet dol kanim sele dorom bawo ibuka sika ko calculate kalon asi muna woluno ani ko nyaton ko e ka kol hayna kalon muna sikeno ye koma fele kalon takiro mo be dame e salon ye musilo le tala pour e kana tora woto nying la mu toñat inata ko deke ko e lafita banko la marakango kuta kuta yandi ye hamme kayito naati député bu ngoto yalon luwaka folo hammole la yemen hamme e ka safe ay ka hamme kayitote agala kangote wala mu bilote ya naati député bu ngoto ni député ya tambindi président o ya signé ya janjande banko la kibar kayitoto asike luwati ye hamme kayito naati ko e lafita kafo lola membe crossro kela banko la maral kango membe kering muna mankita je kam wala kumol moy e lafita men kafula je ni kol be kata isi hamme kayit kuto dada men yalon ko asina maral kango faling kabirin ya naati doyin kol ko ha albe kule la de bari nyin ko nyanta miral bawo bunda kema fula mon anin woro banko la maral kango kono ay même fo ni maral kango ni la fita falina isi sel fula doron le tano bunda dolbe je men ya lonko e député sa falino bari jannin député ba falina folo folo hamme kayito iba safela ya yemol kibar yandi e karu sabalela den ya fulan jang e amanyanda do yala tili tannela ni wo ketala isa nati député bu ngoto député ya yinka ni ya yinka sing fula lebeje men ya lonko ni kilinti nyata doron amuto ko ate tanola sing folo ako hamme kayito a ñanta dalilo soto la bare aye bundal fanam soto hamma kayto aye dalilo soto aye bundal soto woto ala bundal janni ba mala folo folo ibala dalilo jibe la folo anniye dalilo jibe ni député bu ngotala sidula nanila ni sudula sama fo ha okay dalilo beteyata sayi ngata bundato nga yinka den asitambi bunda fula nyangoto e ntol ko bari bunda dolbe je me yalon ko ita falin nola fo referendum yake wobe wo silole tala bari afula nyango fo député yaki IEC e karu woro kono woy referendum ki wo bunda fulo lebeje doyin kol ye wolle seriyandi ko ñing banko la maral kango wote wo men keta fo yaya tata wo manke coup d'état men ya kendi 1970 constitution ya janjang e coup d'état le keta wo coup d'état wala ya kendi ya janjang bari wote wo abuka kendi maral kango ye janjang abe kerinde woto wo bunda ntol ko tumando alse menke bundal me yalo ko député sa faleno e wol nati ata tambila kar worala ay falen bunda me yalo ko anyata sala referendum e wol fana nati ata sanji kilin tambila sanji kilin na wo fana ye falen woto sanji kilin kolon amunto ko isi constitution o kuta yanni iko hani ñunu kay iman lafi kuto ye soto don yalo iman lafi mol yel ndamo soto woto ntol lafi ta kol be falin nga janjang nga constitution kuto soto ndiko ha woto koku nabete ata don ntol bu ko tu kom woto mbal ma koy la ñu continent itata ka dum ka finti alla bango kuma jama constitution kono wala fita banko janjan nafa dol ko e la fita ke la musuti ku jama fota ñing ko wot par hada madingo ni mam fen fasarno imi ñan ko siyandi la jede ku folo fo yesa karangno bari ka karandong o man kanyande fo isa fasarino den isa fono membeje angole banko tinya jannin ko be kala nyanta nyo kala mutandila ko me yalon ko e isa samba dipete bu ngoto ka yinka ngoy yakende ita bula do yinkaro yake woto akumma yata ko sede yande ay seniya kabring ngema koy itata fokacha banta inata ka maral kango hamme maral kango safe ka di president ngo wo fanan aya yelmandi aya ke hamme kaytoti ka nati defete bo ngoto pour koto ye janjang kuto ye lo ka ta referendum e kacha commencé folo ala dalilo ñanta jibela saba nani kono ñanta sonna an député man son e man son bare député jumale man son député men yalon ko e doyata député bo ngoto men siata wo yafale ko anyanta dalilo nsabula ngata fula njangoto ngala bundal jibe wol ko hani ite la fila wala fam an bawo man sabasoto nani kono wala yakendi ko janjanta mbol yesilo soto kote ke men yalon ko asinano député bu ngoto nga men janjang nga bay nga kool commencé wo fota député bu ngoto e amunta ko men yalon ko aba marro la fanan amon kool suute baake bawo membe fo kan wole mo député bu ngo kono ni député be siri ye kuke wo wato kono asomo isina ka foko isi bo ato adum fanan wo wote wo si keno député bo ngot bari pour ka foko aketa bire bari serum aketa serun ne bari bi lafita wo bondila wo man tara safari député bo ngot na loi bu koto député bo ngot bari membe safari je wolemo ni ku man tara safari na loi bu koto membe mararola speaker waye sembo soto pour que som wala kabala woto waye sembo di speaker la pour ye som kabala woto na sonta nun wosi keno même foto nun nga bay nga kol kuto yendi pour nga bo daliloto nga ta yinka roto bundalto am bundalto kay isi koku yinka isi balan e kolbe wo temboleto inata ka patiol kili ka foko mo balle boten Nigeria anin patiol nyanta la fita kacala ku men ya lon ko député bu ngol le ñanta topatol patiol man sembe soto banko la maral kangoto pour que ko fo banko la maral kangoto e boko ye Gambia dingol kilidro mo worula ka ko banko la ku ñaka ca yalla mo kaciale to an alfal ñanta ku jibe la mu kacia sifale mu kaciate me yalla ko ñanta ila haajo tiñal doy man num akkoto he coco ko te doyin kol dal kol ni ko bari alabanta ñaade woto ñing la mu kooti men ya lon ko a ñanta kala mutalle ko doy ko kol tamele kalon doy ka kuwol pesele pour ka kalamuta munuma banko la nafati asa tamanti dol ka ñinin karoki muna ya kendi kat safe wo manke hane kabi wo fanan kita koti ñim banko ka a beteyata membe na wotewo la bukoto luwato wonyanta kala mutalale membe safaring je wala mo nyinti ko membe mararing karta fayo kunya kunna sembo dita wala ko sanji killing janni wote wo bekela anyanta ala kalenda dadala wala mu lungolum wara karo anyanta men kela wo sango kono anyanta dadale aya janja ayisi ay ku janjannu bari janjanya wala mu jibertati bawo ko ku janjan doron aman kanya janni abe kala luwat fo ya safe banko la luwa bukot bawo doyin kol ma jeje wala kende ayisi kilita nun pour ka jibe fo iman ñina membe luwa bukot bari pour ka safero ke fanan luwa fanan ye même fo ayisi ñanta kibaro futande la molma karu killing janni saferobe kela pour ka yitandi ko saferobe kelale woto bawo amam woke a koyto ko amam pare nun pour ka saferoke wala yakende doy la daman siya ko woto bawo ngalon luwayemef an wo manki woto al nyanta men kalmutal wolemu ni saferobe kela karu killing janni abekela abe kankulale be ya moy atekela dibot an fahamu romu woleti men ya kenin ko be filo baykan wala mu faharu ngolo la nafamu woleti ikalo men nyanna kela namanke isafo ayeke wala ken do ka fo do ye sembo so ni ye nyinke foye akake nka jibe ku men ya lon ko luwale ni ya fo ayeke so woto wala mu kuwolti men nyanta jibela akum mayata alsa kalamuta ko ID card kum mayata bake bari wo man kanyang pour ye carte ke so soto loi même fo ni ye birth certificate soto ni ye passeport soto ni ye alkalo wala sefo la birth certificate soto hani kabi isi wo dino ye karto ye safe komanto mol noma kanne mbatu nge makoy pour ID card soto ku jama bari nyimbe filole asab woto akumayata nga ñoo kala mutanti membe kere ñu ne baax na ba tey ñu ngi ci yooni yokkante xel fiñ toog ak fi ñu jëm ne gis nañ réew mi fi mu eggoon mu nekk jamono joo xam ne mu ngi doon tàkk si looloo taxoon ñu jóg pour seet naka la ñoo dimbalee réew mi ndax mu dal ne bi nga xamee ne jàmme bañoon na taxawoon na soldaari ECOWAS yi am seen saxaari manduwaar yi ci géej gi pare pour naaw ci jaww ji ci suñu booda bi itam am seen soldaar yi taxaw foofa ndax dañ gëmoon ne nit koo xam ne yàgg na ci nguur du ci génn feek jëlloo doole dal ci quoi ñun ñu gis ne nag dal boobu du doon em ci jàmme réew mi la doon yàq dafa taal réew te su xasee taal réew mi ni moom la fi ba nga